response through BC?
Well, I think the criteria for accepting a project like that, I think the Prime Minister was clear, I think we're clear. The province has to agree on it, Indigenous people have to agree on it first. So we'll see what they say.
Your constituents, do they agree with it?
I have no idea what my constituents are going to say because I don't think they think our province will agree to it.
Okay.
Okay.
That says something.
Bonjour.
If the Carney government moves forward with a pipeline, as Alberta wants, what do you think? How do you think Quebecers are going to feel about that?
It's something that is not surprising but very disappointing because it would be in direct line with all the moves that this government has made until now, going out of the carbon tax, stopping the EV mandates and stopping also the EV subsidies. So we see that this government is completely doing a copy-paste with the Conservative program, and it would be just another example.
They seem to be trying to unite the country because Alberta is concerns about the separatism movement there. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this could divide the country? Because of course Quebec, is leading the country when it comes to the green transition.
It's very interesting. So it would mean that to unite the country, we would be ready to stop taking care of the climate change and let the planet burn. But for Quebec, there's nothing. Nothing of our demands that we made for the last budget were in the budget. So it's interesting to see.
Okay, thanks for stopping.
Thank you.
We reported this morning that the government's planning to retroactively change the law to kind of cover up a mistake it made in terms of how much it was charging veterans for long-term care. I'm just wondering, what do you make of that move?
Well, I mean, first of all, this is a government that, once told veterans that they were asking for more than they could give. Well, I think veterans might say the same in return. The government's asking for more than they can give. These are veterans who, long-term care, if they're overpaying by $3,000 plus a year, this is a lot of money that they can't afford. And I think what it really boils down to is the government made a mistake. They should have acknowledged they made a mistake instead of sneakily trying to put something buried on page 375 of a Budget Implementation Act to try to take this away from veterans. So, acknowledge the error instead. And I think on top of that, this is one of a number of things that are in this budget that, more than nickel and dime, veterans, there was changes to the way their pensions are calculated. There's another example where, veterans are left wondering, a lot of questions, not a lot of answers. They're left wondering, what is this going to mean in terms of what I take in from my pension? Then we have $4 billion in cuts. And in those cuts, the only thing the government seems to want to admit to is that they're going to change the reimbursement rate for cannabis. That doesn't add up to $4 billion. In fact, it's nowhere close. So now you've got veterans saying, they're sitting on pins and needles. They're worried. They're scared. They're afraid that the government's going to take away some of the benefits and services that they rely on. These are people who fought for our country. The government has an obligation to make sure that we take care of them, and the government is failing in meeting that obligation, and that's really clear in this and in a number of other things in the budget.
What effect do you think this could have on recruitment and faith in the government when it comes to Veterans Affairs?
Well, that's a great question because it does have an effect. It's already having an effect. We've seen this pattern over the last 10 years. This Liberal government has failed to show respect for veterans who served this country. This is another in a long series of examples of that. Not to mention, of course, the lack of commitment to really ensuring that those that are serving have what they need. And so I think when you look at that, anyone who looks at, I ask veterans this all the time, would you recommend that your children, your grandchildren would serve in our Canadian Armed Forces? And many of them tell me, sadly, I wish the answer was different, but I don't know that I could recommend that because they feel like they're not treated with the respect that they deserve by our government. And it does have an impact, no question, on people choosing to serve in our Canadian Armed Forces.
So this is a bill, obviously, before the House. I'm wondering if you or any of your colleagues would consider trying to amend this out of it.
I mean, that's certainly an option for sure. We'll be opposing anything that would harm our veterans, that would have the government not meet the obligations that we have to our veterans, and so yeah, that's an option as well. Thanks.
Question about C-12. Good afternoon. We heard from the immigration critic from the Conservatives, Michelle Renville-Garner. They want to see amendments to C-12 so that you cut off supports for asylum seekers, as I understand it. Is the federal government open to doing those sort of amendments?
Well, I'd point you to the minister on that, but I would simply say this: like on dealing with extortion or dealing with backlogs in our immigration system, the Conservatives continuously full of hot air, and then they fail to support legislative measures that would deal with the very problems they pretend exist. So at the end of the day, I think our patience with Conservative doublespeak is growing thin.
Just on that, what are you noticing from the Conservatives? What are they doing that's holding it up? Because you were raising that in QP today.
Yes, indeed. Well, we had this bill was presented to the last Parliament in terms of the immigration measures, and they stalled and sat on it and filibustered and didn't deal with it. This could have been dealt with a year ago, and it's time to move on from that kind of nonsense.
Okay, appreciate you stopping. Take care.